Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Hans Martin Steiner of ATOS. Hans, thanks for joining us. Now the company's been going through some rebranding and name changes. Explain.
Yes, thank you Richard for inviting me. Yes, we recently joined the ATOS group. We used to be Siemens conversions creators before for quite a while, for actually 20 years. And now we are part of the ATOS group, which is a French company. And we are proud to be part of the ATOS group. Skillful people, a lot of knowledge. On top of that, we have rebranded our main product, CCAMS, for carrier monitoring and then interference localization. So it's now called SkyMon. It used to be called CCAMS before, as I said. It's now called SkyMon.
Now, can you expand a bit on SkyMon and what it's actually bringing to the customer?
Of course, SkyMon, of course, it comes again and still with the same functionality as before. Monitoring of carriers, checking the quality of signals, and once you find out that there is a problem, you can identify and localize where the problem comes from. So interference localization. So it still comes with this basic functionality. On top of that, we are going to add, and we are currently adding what we call VSAT monitoring. Why are we adding VSAT monitoring? Because the majority of interferences come from VSAT terminals, so these small little communication terminals that you actually sell in the meantime to internet users all over the place that are served by satellites. And of course they have antennas on the ground and some terminals on the ground, and they actually regulate and install their devices on their own. And sometimes they are a little bit misaligned, the antennas, or the equipment is not properly configured. This is why you cause interference on satellites. And so far this was quite difficult to discover due to the technology that is used. But we have now found some algorithms in order to do this, and this is introduced now in SkyMon as the latest addition to our functionality.
So with regards to SkyMon, what's the outlook for it as the market moves forward?
Right. Actually, we are going to introduce this VSAT until the end of this calendar year, which is by December we shall have it in the market. It comes with localization and monitoring. On top of that, we are currently investigating with disruptive technologies, which is in other domains already installed, like artificial intelligence, big data analysis, and deep learning. Because, as pointed out, in the meantime, you have a lot of data coming from various satellites. All this data can be stored and analyzed, and in order to check the interferences and actually mitigate interferences, it would be nice to have, let's say, a forecast that you see, okay, if you have a certain condition together, evaluate it, and the last time that actually caused an interference later on, 5 minutes or 10 minutes later or an hour later, and it would be great actually to identify, now I have a similar situation, it might cause some interference, and in order to get the interference, we actually advance it before that you forecast it and mitigate it before it happens. So that's what we are going to study at the moment and probably introduce quite some time, let's say maybe next year or a year from next year.
Now you've mentioned new constellations, but the satellite industry is going through a lot of change. What trends are you seeing?
Okay, I see the trends towards internet. So at the moment, of course, until now, we had satellites that actually were broadcasting TV mainly. So the main purpose of at least geostationary satellites and commercial geostationary satellites was video and TV. But we see the change rather going to internet, so broadband internet. And this in various technologies. So not only geo, actually geo is becoming a little bit less important. Even more important will be the mega constellations, or constellations which are on the low Earth orbit, like in the 1100 kilometers range. So we will see a lot of these constellations proliferating in the next future. And that's a major change for monitoring, for the satellite industry, for the manufacturing of satellites. So I think it turns the whole situation and the whole market upside down. And I think the GEOs will have some difficulties in the future.
Hans, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.